Welcome back, Jerry Audet, Managing Editor of Surfcaster's Journal. This is part 3 of the 4-part series. Go watch the other 2 videos. If you missed them, check us out, surfcastersjournal.com. And stick around to the end of the video because we have on-beach casting demonstrations of these rods. Okay, so this is the Airwave Elite Light from Tsunami. Not to be confused with the Airwave Elite. This is the Light. This is Airwave Elite. This is Airwave Elite Light. These rods only come in much lighter ratings than the Airwave Elite. They're really kind of a totally different line of rods, even though they share a name. Finish is a little bit different. They're really designed to do different stuff. Now, first and foremost, the model. This is the 8-foot model. It is rated half to 1 3/4 ounce. The model number is TSAWESS802LT. I chose this one specifically to test because I thought it was a really interesting rod that would work not for stripers. Look, could you go catch stripers on this? Absolutely. Is this a good schoolie rod? Barely. Yes, it will absolutely turn schoolies, no problem. But if you start to get into some current, you hook yourself a 15-pounder, you're starting to get to the edge of what this rod really can do, okay? It's not really designed for that at all. You certainly could do it. You're probably not abusing the fish, but man, if the water's warm and stuff, you're really risking killing that fish by fighting it for too long. So that's not what this is for. So what is it for? Why am I doing the review? I think this rod, first, would make an excellent shore fluking rod, a croaker rod, Spanish mackerel rod, any of the inshore species to the south of New England. It would definitely work for anything, like small redfish even. This would have plenty of applications in Florida as well for snook. But for the Northeast surfcaster, I really think that shore fluking, this is an excellent rod for that. Extremely sensitive. But one of the things that was really a surprise for me was how moderate the action is. This again has a nice moderate action. It really bends deep into the blank. And it's not just because it's light, it's because of the actual action of the rod. You can see, I mean, it really gets a nice pull into the middle of the blank. Why is this good potentially for shore fluking? Well, if you're casting little pieces of bait with a bottom rig and a pyramid sinker, it's going to prevent that soft action. It's going to prevent it from tumbling, and it's going to prevent any bait from flying off. Again, it's a shock absorber. But this rod's still very sensitive. I mean, it's still plenty of sensitive to feel those really subtle bites. So for me, when I was testing, I kept thinking, man, this thing would be great to save your bait. So when you're casting anything, crabs, strips of bait, worms even, this thing would work great for any of that. So any of the species that you can catch doing that, this would work great for. The other thing that this would work great for, and I definitely did not anticipate this would make an excellent albie rod. Excellent bonita rod, Spanish mackerel rod. If you're casting tins, if you're casting stuff like this, Deadly Dick, Castmasters, and Avajig, then this is just a fantastic rod for you. It doesn't make sense at first, right? I said it's a nice moderate action. To really cast those tins, you want something fast action that's going to give you a really far cast, right? You might lose a tiny bit of casting distance with this, but it's 8 feet. A lot of guys use 7-foot rods for albies. So the thing that really works so well for albies with this is that nice moderate action prevents you from losing them. It's way more of a shock absorber. So if you're using 15 or 20 pound braid with this, and you're using a fluorocarbon leader, all that has no stretch at all. None. Like fluorocarbon has almost none, braid has literally none. You lose them because they're so fast. You know, if your reel's not quite so good, you didn't service your drag, you need some shock absorption. This puppy, with its nice, soft, moderate bend, is going to give you that shock absorption. It's a sweetheart of a rod. It's really light. It's definitely the lightest rod in my arsenal that I would call a real surf rod. But I really like it. It's got nice, high-quality components, good reel seat, the grip's nice. It's very thin, which can be a little bit strange to get used to. Even compared to something like an inshore rod, the grip is really small. But overall, really like it. What reels did we match it with? Honestly, I was using the 4000 Saltex with it a lot. It's a little bit on the big side, but because of what I was doing, that's what I wanted. I wanted that high quality of a reel with some waterproof to go along with it. The dump truck just drove by. I think it matches better with a Daiwa Revros, this little 4000 Revros. This is obviously a mostly a freshwater designed reel. You definitely don't want to get this wet, but something in this size actually would work better. So if you're a pen guy, it's probably something in the 3,000 size, maybe as small as 2,500. That's pretty small though. Probably stick to 3,000. Depending on the manufacturer though, you know, 3,000, 4,000 size would be just fine. Highly recommended, great rod, just top to bottom, great value. Highly recommended as long as you know what you're getting into, again, just like with the Shimano that I did in the previous review. So now let's go to the beach and do some casting.
So he's using the